to H360 HealthTalk. First of all, I want to wish everybody a happy new year. And today we're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. We thought this would be a very timely topic. And joining me here at the table for the first time is my friend and Healthy O360 colleague, Doug Lesko. Hey, Doug, welcome to the table.
Thank you, Dave. Appreciate it.
So I thought it would be timely if we just kind of jumped in and talked about New Year's resolutions.
Yeah, I think that's a good, beginning of the year. Start the year off right. Get in that healthy mindset for the year. Things you want to change about yourself or your lifestyle.
Absolutely. Probably everybody, or most everybody, if not everybody watching this, has set a New Year's resolution at one point in time. Mm-hmm. And, there's a lot of studies about how well or not these New Year's resolutions stick. Yep. Now, I'll kick it off and talk about a few of mine in the past. I think I hit the top ones of, wanting to eat better, mm-hmm. Maybe wanting to get a little bit more sleep, exercise more regularly. And there's some things that I do to make sure that I'm trying my best to hit those targets.
Okay.
How about you?
Well, I've done a couple in the past. I'm not big on the New Year's resolution thing. I think, a lot of times when people say, "Oh, I'm going to do a New Year's resolution," they don't last very long. So I think, you have to think of it more as a whole lifestyle change in general, long term. I've done a few in the past. 1 year I tried to work on saving money in the new year. And that one was probably my most successful attempt at one. Other times it was, quitting this or giving up this habit. And those lasted all of about a day or two. So, I came across this article. Interesting statistic here. 8% of people achieve their New Year's resolution. So 92% fail.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a couple things I do. And one of the things I try to focus on to not be in that majority of the people who aren't successful is to set smaller goals for myself.
That's exactly what it says here.
I'll be darned.
Start a week or a month or, don't set a whole year goal. Start with a week, intermediate goals to hit your long-term goal.
Exactly. So if I said, in 2019, my goal is to lose 40 pounds. Well, that sounds like a lot, right? Just go to the supermarket and pick up a 5-pound bag of sugar, and, that's 8 of those that, I say I'm going to lose. So instead of saying I'm going to lose 40 pounds over the course of the year, I might say, my goal is I'm going to shoot for 2 pounds a week, or something smaller, which is manageable, which I can track.
Attainable.
Attainable, yeah. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the way to go about it. And that, oddly enough, that's going to be my resolution for this year, is to lose, maybe 15, 20 pounds, somewhere in there. So, like you said, I'm going to start out, I'm going to make it a goal for January to lose about 5 that month, and then maybe go for 5 the next month, and take it from there, and hopefully I think the important part is that you see progress along the way. Yeah. And I think that's what will keep somebody going to reach that long-term goal.
I think you're right. Now, you mentioned that probably saving money was one of your more successful New Year's resolutions. Was there something happening in your life that helped facilitate that? Maybe you're saving for a house, or maybe you're planning a wedding, or is there something else around that?
There were times where there was life events such as that, but it's kind of just a general overall. Every year I like to do a little audit at the end of the year and take a look at finances and say, all right, what's going to be the plan for the next year? And then from there it's kind of like, all right, what are you going to cut out? Yeah. So that's when you actually sit down and look at it, then you can come up with the priorities, and see, all right, what can I live without,
Yeah.
And I think that's why that was probably my most successful attempt at a New Year's resolution, because I actually mapped it out and said, all right, we're only going to go out to eat once a month, or we're not going to, splurge on this movie or, TV or whatever. So.
Yeah. I think with setting goals that are attainable, I think also doing a little bit of self-reflection and being realistic with yourself is important too. So I'm not going to say, in 2019, I'm going to do whatever it takes to go out and get my PGA Tour card. Well, you've seen me in the office with
that's definitely not going to happen.
Exactly. So, taking a step back and knowing who you are, what your capabilities are, and being realistic. I think that's really important.
Yeah. So what about you in the past with any
Yeah,
New Year's
well,
resolutions?
I'll tell you what. The older you get, the harder it is to take the weight off.
Oh,
And
that's definitely
so
true.
that's one that's always on the top of my list.
Mm-hmm.
And I try. I really, one year I said, okay, instead of picking a target weight, I said, you know what, I'm going to cut out fast foods. And so, a lot of times I'd work late into the evening, and fast food is just so convenient.
Yeah.
So I really focused on, on the weekends, kind of making meals that I could, put in the freezer or package up that would, get me through the week. And so not swinging by and grabbing a slice of pizza or, running through a McDonald's drive-through on the way home, because I knew I had something to eat when I got there. I didn't have to start from scratch. So that's always at the top of my list. And I think, the other things like, just getting a little bit more exercise, getting a little bit more quality sleep. I think those are really the top things on my list. And then, of course, I have got 2 in college. So, of course, a couple of years ago, there was a big push to, as you did, really save more money so I could contribute to their college fund a little bit better. So I think it's the normal things. I as I look back, I'm not a smoker, so that's off the table. But I think for me, that it was, living a more healthy lifestyle, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's probably most people's goal for the new year.
Yeah.
So, besides losing weight and eating healthy, what are some other common New Year's resolutions that some people tend to set?
Well, saving money, right, is one. If you find you feel like, you're stuck in a rut in your career, maybe
get a new job, right?
Get a new job.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, I went out and I bought a guitar and I wanted to learn, the guitar. And, I got so far with it. I think I accomplished my goals. 5-6 chords, I think you can strum along to almost anything.
I'd love to hear that.
Well, that's for another show, but, when we talk about that. So those are some of the things. Maybe a second language. My grandparents spoke French around the house. Most of the time was when they didn't want us kids to know what they were saying. But I think Italian and French, the Romance languages, I think it would be fun to learn that. I've always wanted to learn how to play chess. And so, I might reconsider that. But this year, and people are probably watching this and saying, gosh, if Dave's had losing weight on his target list for the last couple of years, he's not really doing so well. And that is true. So I'm going to put that right at the top of my list.
Well, like you said, 92% fail. So,
yeah.
It's obvious. I have never made the 8%. So I've always been in the 92%. So this year I'm going to go about things a little differently and, really focus my efforts on it. And hey, if you set the goal high, even if you make some progress, you don't completely get there all the way. At least at the end of the year, you made some progress towards it.
Now, in terms of holding yourself accountable to these goals, do you find it helpful to maybe share those goals with your friends and family so that they can encourage you?
One of the tips they give you is to tell people about your goal. The more people you tell, then they can chime in. Maybe my wife will say, "Hey, Doug, your resolution was to lose some weight. Why are you sitting there eating that bowl of ice cream after dinner?
Yeah.
And it helps. Puts it in the back of your mind. Say, okay, you're right. Maybe I need to, skip that next time and get back on track. And
yeah. Now, do you think your wife will? Maybe you'll set one together so you can support each other through achieving the goal?
I think that's good. And, like when we decided to do the resolution one year to save a little more money, we did that together.
Yeah.
And I think that helped a lot because, one night one of us will want to cave and say, oh, let's go out and do this or whatever. Then the other one kind of is that other voice that keeps you in check and says, you're right, we should stay in. Maybe we'll just watch a movie on TV instead of going out to see a movie or something like that. Yeah.
So, Doug, we had a couple of people email some questions in. So, Paul from Muskogee, Oklahoma, wrote in to us. He says, with all the New Year's resolutions and different goals, are there some that are harder to achieve than others? And if so, why? Paul, thanks for that question. I think it's a very good question. I'm not a professional, but I'm going to give it my best attempt to answer that. And I think there are goals that are harder to attain than others, even if they're smaller goals and more realistic. And so let me give you an example. If you're a smoker and you say, my goal is to quit smoking, we all know, and studies have shown, that tobacco and cigarette smoking is addictive. And so when you get addicted onto nicotine, it's not, by saying you want to save money, there's no
addiction involved there.
Exactly. So when I think addiction is involved, maybe I want to have, I'm not going to drink alcohol during the week and limit myself on the weekends when I'm out enjoying my time with friends. Well, a lot of people, alcohol gets away from them, and so then they're addicted. And I think those are the kind of things that are much harder to achieve.
I would tend to agree with you there.
Now, did your study mention that if you take that 92%, was it 92?
92%.
Yeah, that fail. Yeah. If you take that 92% and break that down, did it give any reasons why that number is so high?
Usually because either it wasn't attainable or it wasn't tangible. I think when it's tangible, it's easier to achieve that resolution because you can see it, you can see the progress, you can see the results. A lot of people didn't share it with others. They kept it to themselves, so that way it's very easy to back out of it and say, nobody knows this is what I'm trying to do. If I don't do it, nobody will know.
Yeah.
So, those are some of the things. I think the most common one is the fact that it's not a realistic, attainable goal.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that was a great question. Paul, if you send us your email, you got a couple of our Healthio 360 wristbands coming your way. I always enjoy getting questions from our audience and seeing what's on the tops of their minds. But so we're into the new year. You're not very far into the new year. Nope. So Doug, I'm going to ask you, how's it going so far with your weight loss goal?
So far, so good. I'm just trying to starting little, during the week, during the work, trying to eat a little better, bring my lunch to work. I find if I bring my lunch, I'll eat much healthier rather than, running over to the nearest restaurant and getting a burger and fries, at least if you, like you said before with your giving up the fast food, you prepped ahead of time, so you had that ready for you.
Yeah.
So it was much more convenient. So it made it easier for you to eat healthy.
Yeah. I have noticed at lunch you're bringing in more salads. It looks like carrot and celery sticks are coming in. I think you limit yourself on the celery sticks. I don't think you enjoy those too much.
No, not at all.
But the carrot sticks, I see you munching on those instead of, some of the chips and things we have hanging around the office. And, mine is going well. I'm off to a good start. I am exercising a little more. As you know, I've brought some of the elastic bands into the office, and so when I'm on conference calls or I have a break, I'm kind of doing a little bit of exercise. And then I have a rowing machine at home, so I'm trying to, as best I can to, set my alarm clock a half hour earlier, throw on my sneakers and some shorts, go down and row for 30 minutes. And I find that my day is off. If I row in the morning, my day is much better.
Yeah, and I think that's the key too, is doing that exercise first thing in the morning. I think it really jumpstarts your metabolism, gets your body burning calories quicker throughout the day. I think that's very important. A lot of people, myself included, I have a hard time working out in the morning. I prefer to do it later on when I get home from work. And I think it's all personal preference, but I wish I could do I wish I could follow your footsteps and do it first thing in the morning. I think that would be much more beneficial.
Yeah. So I think it was a great topic. I think we're off to a good start this year.
I do have a couple more resolutions to jumpstart your health in the new year. To get yourself off to better health first thing in the new year.
Yep, and it's just not too late. I mean, a lot of people think if you're not set, locked and loaded on January 1,
you can start any time.
Exactly.
Yeah. So one of them is to train for a 5K.
Okay.
Hold a plank.
What's that?
A plank is kind of like you get
like walk the plank. Are we talking about the you're gotta walk the plank?
Yeah, you jump if you don't meet your goal. A plank is a very beneficial exercise. It uses a lot of different muscle groups. Basically, what it is, it's similar. Like you get in a position like you're doing a push up, but you put your weight on your elbows. And you hold your body as straight as possible in that position for as long as you can. If you can do it for a minute and a half, 2 minutes, that's really good. If you can get past a minute, that's pretty good. But it's very beneficial because it uses a lot of different muscle groups in there.
So is this a yoga pose or?
No, just a general core strengthening exercise you can do.
Okay, all right.
So, what you can do is challenge yourself each time to hold it for a little bit longer each time and keep yourself... and then before you know it, you're holding it for 4 or 5 minutes at a time, and that's really impressive if you can get to that level. Yeah. So, a couple other resolutions would be to drink more water. I think
that's important. Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody realizes the importance of drinking water throughout the day.
Yeah. Well, it kind of piggybacks on your weight loss, exercising, feeling healthier. You gotta stay hydrated, and the more water you drink, probably the less food you're going to consume, right? Water's going to fill you up. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yep. You can get out and walk a little more. I know, having a dog, that helps me, those days when it's like 25 degree, 30 degrees out, it's like, I don't want to go out there. But then, I look at little Fido there and, he's looking at me like, I need some exercise here.
Yeah.
And I can't say no to him. So it gets me up, and I bundle up, put the hat and gloves on and stuff, and get out there and go for a half-hour walk. And, I think that's one of the ways having a dog can be very beneficial to your health. It can force you to get out there and do that. As you said before, getting more sleep. A lot of people list that as a goal for the year.
Yeah. Awesome. So I've got one more question I want to review, and this one's coming from Mary from Birmingham, Alabama. Mary writes in, "Hi guys, I love the show. Keep up the great work." Well, thanks, Mary. Thanks for that. She says that her New Year's resolution, she wants to give back more, whether it be to a charity or, and she wants to feel like she's involved in helping others. And she wants to know if we have any suggestions or recommendations for her. So, Doug, I'll let you kick this one off.
Yeah, obviously volunteering is a great way you can go about it.
Yeah.
We also are involved in a charity, Vital Options International. Started out about 30 years ago, and, doing great things. We donate money to people that are going through treatments and, help them out with like groceries, utility bills, things of that nature. Every dollar we raise goes directly to those patients in need.
Yeah.
So that's one way you can definitely donate. But I think volunteering is great. I think there's a nice sense of pride when you go out and volunteer and you interact with the people that you're helping, and you can see the reaction on their faces, and, they really appreciate the effort.
Yeah, I agree. And you know what? It doesn't take much. And, in your local area, Birmingham is a pretty large metropolitan area. I'm sure that churches or synagogues or a local food pantry, you can always get involved there. But Doug, I'm glad you mentioned Vital Options, and the website is www.vitaloptions.org. That is our charitable giving part of Healthy O360. And you're right, we, every dollar that we raise will go directly to a patient or family.
When you hear the reaction from these people, it really makes it all worthwhile.
Yeah. All right. Well, Doug, this has been a great conversation. I know you've got another article there. Did we hit the most important topics?
Yeah, we definitely covered it. I think it's a good start for the new year. I'd like to wish everybody luck in their New Year's resolutions. Hope it works out for you. Don't hesitate to drop us a line if you have any questions. It's support@healthyo360.com. We'd love to hear from you.
Yeah, keep us posted on how your goals are going. And as Doug said, we'd love to hear from you. We're always open to receiving your questions or just sending us an email saying hi. We always enjoy getting those. So, Doug, great discussion. Best of luck on your New Year's resolution. I'm going to wish myself luck because I'm going to need it. But thanks for stopping by.
Thanks. Nice to be on the other side of the camera for a change.
Absolutely.